After 2 weeks away, the first VR game I wanted to check out was Microsoft Flight Simulator on PSVR2, because no sooner had I dropped my 30 best PSVR2 games, which saw Microsoft Flight Simulator sitting at number 29, and I've got to be honest, it didn't really cause the upset I was expecting, because there is so many different takes on how good the VR mode actually is. But as I boarded the plane, the beta VR version got a visual update that had me super excited. Very soon after this update was announced, I started seeing the feedback from players who seemed pretty overwhelmed by this new visual clarity and performance. But as we know, the hype machine on social media can be fierce, and sometimes players do see what they want to see, and I'm no exception to this. The very first video I did on Microsoft Flight Simulator on the channel with PSVR2 was one of excitement and disbelief. This is a game PCVR owners have struggled with for years to get looking anywhere near as beautiful as the trailers we see online, and only now with my new PC can I actually say I'm quite close to it. But with PSVR2 and the official VR mode, the results were mixed at best. Having a fast internet connection makes all the difference due to this game being entirely streamed, and also I found the more I explored the game for the second video, where you went in the world also changed the visual results. So overall, I did come away impressed with the previous VR version, especially when you consider the PS5 is 6 years old. But there was still the dreaded softness that has plagued so many PSVR2 games, especially in high detail areas and when especially moving quickly. The worst situation I saw of this myself was flying next to the Millennium Dome in London, and the intricate web of high strength steel cables all suddenly meshed together, and to be honest, it looked pretty bloody ugly. So this is where, at least visually, I figured Microsoft Flight Simulator VR on PSVR2 would stay, and I honestly never expected it to improve. Well, I'm pleased to say I was absolutely wrong. Stepping into the beta today on PSVR2 is visually nothing short of incredible. The awful clouds are now pretty stunning to see and fly through, and when it's running smoothly, it's very hard not to let your jaw hit the floor, because at times this game is truly breathtaking. Don't get me wrong, there is a small downside to this visual update, and maybe it's because it's in beta, and that's the small but still annoying frame rate stutters, which feel far more pronounced now than before. To me, the game is struggling a lot more, especially in scenes like during Stranger Things DLC, where there's lots of rain and lightning, but thankfully the stutters are not very often, and the trade-off is well worth it, because now we have a VR flight sim on PSVR2 where everything looks exceptionally sharp, and I can only imagine how much better this could look if PlayStation did a better job of backing its VR ambitions and released an updated PSVR2 with pancake lenses. But once again, much like No Man's Sky, and this is especially true on the Pro, the PS5 in combination with PSVR2 and its amazing eye tracking, which soon will be a standard in all VR headsets, delivers visuals that match £2,500 to £3,000 PC rigs. And I'm extremely grateful the devs have actually listened to the VR community and continue to improve this stunning game, because it honestly isn't cheap. They are actively listening to the investors who took the plunge and have now delivered a visual upgrade that needs to be not only seen but celebrated, regardless of where we are in this headset or even system cycle. I now have hopes the full release will see even bigger improvements to the performance in the near future. Another trade-off I noticed is the social screen. It's definitely taken a hit due to the foveated rendering, but that's my problem and not something anyone should care about when they're looking at this game in a VR headset. Overall, if anyone was on the fence on whether Microsoft Flight Simulator is worth taking the plunge for on PSVR2, now is definitely the time to jump in. At times, I think it looks absolutely staggering, and I can only hope more games in 2026 deliver this level of VR visuals. As always, I appreciate you watching, and thank you to anyone who likes and subscribes, and I wanted to add, some people are asking if I'm giving up on PSVR2. Now, I'm not sure where this has suddenly come from, but just so you know, my rule of thumb is that good VR is on all VR platforms, and PSVR2 is obviously no exception. So until developers stop making good games for it, or in this case truly realistic flight sims that make PS5 and PSVR2 incredible value, especially when in comparison to PC, I'll be here covering the games. So there we have it. It's good to be back, and I'll see you on the next one.